Strap in, feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 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 it's different.
Hello again, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm Gary Gotso, and welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage of Round 7 of Season 9 of the longest continuously running DW12 Series on all of iRacing. Today, it's the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear, coming tonight from Pocono Raceway for the 8th running of the Dark Horse Pocono 300. As always, joining me in the booth is the Catalyst, Andrew Wood. Andrew, good to have you here. Big week. Actually, we're kind of just now starting the big month of IndyCar racing, and we're going to get started off kind of with an appetizer. 300 miles here in the old DW12s at Pocono as we are now down the Long Pond stretch, getting ready to go green. Opening thoughts here before we get the starting lineup.
Yeah, great to be with you again, Gary. And we're here at Pocono, and these cars have always put on such a great show in these DW12s. So I'm really hoping that it's quite the same thing tonight. We have quite a few championship scenarios kind of going on here for the last couple of races of the season. So I'm excited to see what happens here.
And there you see Matty Wags on the pole with a speed of 2:17.8. Miguel next to him and a kind of a Zanardi tribute theme on the front row. Then we got Murph and Lovren, Albrecht and Smith, Kirkenbauer, Teed, Peterson, and Brashear. That rounds out the first 5 rows. And then Stouffer, Highsong, Forsyth, Lilac Zier, Hobson Gallas, Marcamini, Dinsdale, and Joseph Morales rounding out the remainder of this 19-car field.
Green flag.
Guarantee we're going to see quite a bunch of cars going into turn 1, maybe like 4 or 5 wide if everyone gets around.
Already 4 wide in the back there. Here we go, 4 wide into the corner. Stouffer to the bottom.
These cars just have so much draft with them, as you talked about many times. The draft envelope in these cars is so big that you get these big runs. Even on these starts and restarts, it can be wild. I remember when I was attending this Pocono race, I want to say it was 2016, the 7 wide situation we had with a bunch of cars going in front of me, and it was like, wow, these cars just fan out to every possible opportunity they can. A little bit of a rough start for Charles Teed there. I think he got a little bit tight maybe coming into turn 2. I'm not sure if it got tighter. Maybe he turned a little too early and thought he hit the curb, and he lost quite a few spots there. So Charles Teed's already lost 3 spots from his starting position. So he'll want to try and make those spots up soon. But we talked about the draft envelope in these cars, Barry, and you got to be within a certain amount of distance from the car behind in order to get that. And I'm sure that these cars up front are going to try and swap draft and everything to get themselves a little bit farther forward than hopefully start to pull away from some of the cars behind.
120 laps tonight, 300 miles at the 2.5 mile tricky triangle in the Poconos. Murph takes the point. He is our points leader. Here are the points coming in. Indy Kirkenbauer not in the lineup. His father is, but not the junior. Matty Wags currently third in the points. Eric Peterson fourth. Jeff Heisong in fifth. Then we have Miguel, Lovern, Stouffer, and Gallus. And then there's Clay Kirkenbauer in the 10th spot. So that is after 6 races complete. This is race number 7. So Kirkenbauer Indy not being here is going to change the complexion of this championship race, because Murph's got himself a little bit of a mechanical issue tonight. He's running this race basically on his phone hotspot tonight. So if he should happen to drop out, this opens the door wide open for Matty Wags to be a contender here with 2 more rounds after this.
Exactly, and let's hope that Mark Murphy gets his connection sorted and he can stay in this. But one interesting thing about Indy Kirkenbauer is that he already has 1 less start than all these drivers that he's contending with in the championship, so this can't be a drop week for him. So it's going to hurt him in the point standings for sure. But yeah, anything could really happen, especially in the Area 51 race on Tuesday night. We saw 1 driver from the top 3 was missing, and both of the drivers around him finished last and second to last of the running order. So that could really shake things up if something similar happens here.
It is Murph, then Wags, then Chris Albrecht. Wags and Albrecht coming off a completed season in the Elite Racing League. Wags had a top 10 in his final race. Albrecht had a bit of a rough season, but looking to recover. Now the off season's here. And Jeremy Miguel in that, I guess you could call it just anything from that Target era of 95, 96, 97, 98 of that Target Chip Ganassi car with the yellow lightning bolt on the side. But made most famous by Alex Zanardi and Jimmy Vasser and, of course, Juan Montoya. And, of course, we did lose Alex Zanardi this week, much too early, at 59 years old. 2-time IndyCar champion. I'm not going to say arguably, but if you throw Greg Moore's name into the mix, you could question arguably, probably. The debate is really between those two. The best 2 IndyCar drivers to never race in the Indy 500. Greg Moore, Alex Zanardi. It's hard to believe when you tell someone that 2-time kart champion of Alex Zanardi never raced in the Indy 500. He might have tested there. I'm not sure if he did test there or not, but he certainly never completed in a race there. And at least Greg Moore had an IROC race that he raced at the Brickyard, but Zanardi never completely shut out at the Brickyard.
You know, I kind of wish IROC was back in session, Gary. Those were really, really fun races to watch. Just seeing all the different drivers from different classes and everything coming together and racing something that is very foreign to everyone. Those were always exciting races to watch. You know, we have the double. We have Kyle Larson doing the Indy 500 double, so he gets to dabble in the IndyCar. But yeah, those IROC races were definitely kind of a snapshot in time, if you will.
Oh, contact! And Miguel into the wall! And you saw it right there. It's a little bit of wheel contact between himself and Albrecht, and it was getting really close and really chippy 3 wide going into turn 1.
Yeah, we see this quite a lot, especially if you're trying to enter the corner and you don't know where the guy on the inside is going or where he's turning exactly. And if you turn a little bit too early, that could result in the outside car just getting put in the wall there. So no real fault of any drivers there necessarily when that happens, but I don't think Miguel's car looks too bad. I think he'll be able to probably go in and just maybe get a front wing replaced. If there's any sort of other suspension damage, then that's just going to be a fast repair.
Yeah, remember we do have the fast repair at their disposal for this race. One fast repair for each driver. But really, it started way back in turn 3. Not a great exit for Albrecht. And that kind of slowed him up, but it allowed Lovern, Stouffer, and Miguel to kind of get all around him. And there you see the contact going into turn 1, putting up Miguel into the wall. So we are under caution here at lap 9. So this is going to be the first, I guess, of what we're going to decide for a pit strategy for this race. Remember, we are at 80% fuel tank capacity, despite having unlimited tires. So that could be anywhere between a 3 and a 4 stop in this particular race. And I would say it's probably closer to a 4 stop, which the pit window opens really at lap 24 if we were going in a longer green flag run. But knowing that data now, Andrew, do you come in this time and throw on a new set of tires, or do you stay out because you're only about halfway through your first stint?
You know, I think if you're at the back of the field, you're definitely going to come in and put new tires on, because what do you have to lose, really? But Pocono has always been kind of one of those track position races where the clean air is king. And the more cars you put yourself behind and try to make yourself go forward, it doesn't always pan out that way. And you always wind up equalizing the tires a little bit. So interestingly enough, it looks like everybody's coming in right now. So everyone will be on an even playing field again. But if everyone from the front's coming in, you're probably going to see a couple people from the back stay out.
It is follow the leader on pit road as everybody comes. Joseph Morales is going to stay out and typically get that lap led for his credit, but he will probably come to pit road before we go green.
Now, with that 80% fuel situation, Gary, it's possible that people are starting to count backwards. You know, in these longer races, that's typically what you tend to do. So this could just be a strategy to say, listen, you know, can only do this on maybe 3 more stops. You were mentioning the 4th stop before. If you're able to make it from here on even stops to fill up the tank, that's probably the reason why everyone's coming down pit road.
So this might be the window that everyone was looking for to make this done. And I think we're probably still looking at 4 stops, but 3 even stops from this point forward.
You know, I'm kind of shocked, actually, if people from the front are coming in and you want that track position, why not stay out and roll the dice? It's early enough that you could flip on to a different strategy later on in the race. If you're sitting back around P13, 14, 15 or so, where pretty much Kenneth Smith started the race in 6th and fell back that far, it might be a good opportunity to stay out, but I guess everyone's doing their math a little bit differently. So I'm kind of shocked to see everybody come down pit road.
Checking chat. A bounty has been issued. If you like Grand Theft Auto, punt Murph, and I will fund your Horizon races on iRacing next season. Says ISRA. Of course, that's Mike Rigney. So, open offer in the air for Wags. Of course, Wags, his series is the Horizon IndyCar series. They run here on P1 on Wednesday nights, predominantly during the season and during the year. And Murph is their lead commentator here on our channel for that race, or for that series.
I was going to say something, but I'll keep it to myself. I've almost got myself in trouble before on this channel. I was going to make a follow-up comment to the comment in the chat, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
Yeah, this Pocono is, and we will quickly change the topic here. Pocono, purpose-built for the IndyCar, if you can believe it. Even though IndyCar does not race here anymore, but they built this place with IndyCar racing in mind. Turn 1 based after Trenton, who is no longer, track is no longer around anymore, got demolished in the early 80s. Of course, Indianapolis, they based Turn 2 upon Indianapolis. Turn 3 is based upon Milwaukee. Of course, we still visit those tracks in the real world IndyCar series. Of course, with the Indy 500 and the Milwaukee Mile visit that they do later in the season. between USAC Kart and IndyCar. The series has raced at Pocono 26 times from 1971 to 89, which were all 500-mile races, and then again from 2013 to 2019. Every single race except one, which I believe was the 2013 race, was a 500-mile race, making Pocono the track with the second most 500-mile races in IndyCar history. You may have thought it was Michigan. Nope, it wasn't. Michigan has more overall races, but Michigan has only 22 500-mile races. Pocono has 26. Getting ready to go green next time by. Here we go at the line. It will be Wags, Murph, Stouffer, Lovern, and Albrecht, your top 5, all together going green at lap 12.
And we have that usual checkup on the restarts, which is going to allow A.J. Hobson to get quite a run down the front straightaway. He's probably going to pass about 4 cars here. So A.J. Hobson's going to pick up quite a bunch of spots. I believe the first car that balked a little bit might have been
and Hobson and Teed made contact coming off of 2 to the inside wall off of 1. No caution. That is Teed and Hobson. They're still rolling. Hobson's going to have to tow. Teed might still be able to roll and get that fast repair, but we're still green.
Yeah, Hobson had such a head of speed coming into turn 1, and he chose the very, very low line, and eventually he was going to have to push up onto the higher line where other cars were, but Hobson had quite a head of steam, and yeah, it was Mark Amini that had a little bit of a slow restart there, kind of checked everybody up behind him, and yeah, unfortunate for Hobson and T, that means that, wow, a great restart for Hobson just kind of got faltered there.
Here's Stouffer on the outside, and 2. He's going to let it hang, but he's not going to be able to get the position. He just rides the high side. Of course, we all know Stouffer as the Pocono Whisperer. He has a win here in the past.
Craig Forsythe's on the move as well back there, and I think he's going to be in P7 or 6 now. P7. Yeah, he picked up 2 spots on that lap. I believe it was Mark Amini and Jeff Haisong that he passed. And he also got past Clay Kirkenbauer. Yeah, so it puts him into P7 now from his restarting position of P10. So Forsythe's on the move now.
Forsythe with podium finishes here in the past. Chris Stouffer won a 500-mile race here back in 2024. Over Craig Forsythe by 4.2 seconds. Matty Wags finished 3rd in that one. Stouffer also finished 3rd in Season 7 when we did a 100-lapper here. Rafi Eckert finished 2nd to Eric Schaus in that one. Stouffer finished 3rd. And Craig Forsythe finished 3rd back in Season 5. Matt Wagner finished 2nd in the very first race here we had in Season 3 and finished 3rd in Season 4. So a lot of drivers with a lot of accomplishments here finishing on the podium, but would love to, in the case of Wags, break through and get a win here.
You're going to see these cars really take a lot of different lines into these corners. You've got some cars that can really get the job done on the inside, but on the outside, you have so much extra speed that if you can just put yourself right about on the right rear to just ahead of the right rear tire coming out of the corner, you can get the run going. So that's what Craig Forsythe did to Clay Kirkenbauer a couple laps ago. But in turn 1, especially, if you throw it up the inside close to the line that A.J. Hobson did, you can really get that line going down there. And I think it's not going to change too much with the tire wear situation going on here. So drivers can really make passes on the inside and the outside here. And unfortunately, Stouffer hasn't been able to really get the job done on the outside for the lead, but he's hanging in there, which just shows that outside line still has a little bit of strength to it.
And there you see the conditions, 101 on the track temp, 68 on the ambient. So tire deg's not going to be too bad, but we know with everything considering these cars that fresh tires mean everything. As we watch Brashear, Kirkenbauer, and Forsythe, and also in the picture Haisong. We're going to 3 wide down the backstretch, now 2 wide down the backstretch into turn 2.
And that's just what makes this race so incredible, the runs that you get, because you get side by side right on the exit of the corner, and you can't necessarily complete the pass, but you have just enough to hang there, but the cars behind have such a head of steam and so much momentum that they could really get something going there. So that's what you saw with Brashear, Forsythe, and Clay Kirkenbauer last lap. And now it looks like, I think that's Peterson that's starting to drop back a little bit.
Stouffer starting to break out with a little bit of a lead. In fact, he's about a tenth of a second from breaking the draft envelope right now of Wagner. It's about 6/10 the draft envelope of these cars extends. And if he breaks that, he will no longer be pulling that line. He will be all by himself.
And you saw that the leaders were starting to come down towards the inside of the track last lap, so they're trying their best already to separate themselves as much as they possibly can. As you see, Stouffer is doing it again, but this time no one's staying up high. Everyone's going down that low line with him, and there's five trail marks that you see going down the straightaway there, so that shows that it's at least 5 wide.
Peterson has fallen back to 9th. Kenny DeJet-Smith, he has worked his way up to 11th. Or well, actually started in 6th. He's back to 11th, but hanging tough right now. The biggest gainer right now is Stouffer up 10. Which is no surprise. You and I both seen Stouffer many times, not just in this car here, but just in any type of open wheel IndyCar, and this is really one of his places. If he's in the lineup, you can always assure that he's going to be up near the front of a race here at Pocono.
Yeah, I wouldn't put. I know Chris Stouffer a long time. I've been racing with him for almost 10 years now, and I wouldn't call Pocono one of his more favorite tracks. He definitely finds his way up towards the front when he can. Homestead is definitely a track that he loves, and I know he absolutely adores Michigan. 2 tracks that he is absolutely good at and he loves to drive. But there are some similarities with both of those tracks that fall into Pocono as well. It's just every corner has a different technique to it. So if you can know what corner is your weakness and then go from there and be better at the other 2 corners and focus on those, that's what gets you to the front at a track like this.
$50 miles into this 300-mile event here. Wags takes the lead going into 1, and he pulls away a little bit by 3/10. Now we got Murph attacking Stouffer going into 2. He stays high through 2, pretty much single file.
And very quietly, Caleb Brashear is making his way forward. He's up to 4th place now, and he was trying to battle for that 10th place position before. Very, very close there between Gary Lover and Gary and Chris Albrecht got very close there. But yeah, Caleb Brashear was trying to find his way around 8th or 9th place a few laps ago, and now he's made his way up to P4. So possibly could be just trying to use every bit of tire that he possibly can to get forward, and then might pay the price later, or is it just a matter of trying to find the cleanest air he possibly can?
Well, we're getting ready to explore undiscovered country here because we are now 9 laps, 12 laps of this current stint. So it's about 3 laps longer. So we are exploring undiscovered country here. Longer than that first stint.
Gary Lover and Albrecht have contact again. Albrecht catches the wall a little bit out of 3. That's going to allow Clay Kirkenbauer to pass both of them. But yeah, there's been beating and banging for Mr. Albrecht and Gary Lovern up ahead. So I'm going to take a look and see if Albrecht's picked up any damage along the way there, because he did kind of ride along that wall in turn 3. The car looks pretty clean, but all the momentum is gone. And these tracks that have these high speeds, you can just lose momentum so fast. But I don't see any damage on the Albrecht car, so just lost a few positions along the way. If he gets it all spooled back up again, maybe pick up those spots again and go back to it, catching up to where Gary Lovern is 3 cars ahead.
Stouffer back to the point. Now Wagner back to the point. Going into 1. The Lovern and Kirkenbauer are side by side down the Long Pond stretch. It's very tight through turn 2 there, Indianapolis. And then it really opens up when they get to turn 3. At least 4 different lines you can take through that turn. Oh, Lovern slides up right behind Haisong, but Haisong gets the position now. Haisong looking to attack Kirkenbauer. Those guys need to start working together now because the top four are kind of starting to pull away a little bit, putting a little gap on themselves.
Yeah, a lot of that gap has probably been caused by the Lovern and Albrecht battle that was happening a few laps ago. They were side by side for much of the lap before the contact happened, and all that does is just slow both cars down because you have to give room to both cars on either side of you. You're not able to stay in a single file formation, so it's ultimately going to slow everyone down. So that's what allowed the top four to get away quite a bit. But yeah, we have this nice big train here from P5 down to P11, all battling very, very closely here.
We'll watch this battle with Lovern. If you enjoy coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear and you respect the stream, please do us all. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Tonight's 8th running of the Dark Horse Pocono 300 is brought to you by, and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented to you by 4D Racewear. Check out 4D's made for sim racing lineup, made for sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. And now they also offer race awards and custom championship rings for your leagues. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Currently their car right now is Craig Forsyth, and he is in 6th. And Chris Stouffer is in 2nd, the 4D cars.
Yeah, last lap we had Clay Kirkenbauer getting very, very close to the wall out of turn 1 there, and he did kind of have to slow the car down quite a bit and lost a lot of momentum. So now Clay Kirkenbauer is down to P9 behind Chris Albrecht, who took that spot from him. So yeah, that top four is really organized and getting themselves away from this pack. In terms of if everyone's trying to wonder where Guillermo Miguel was, our Alex Zanardi car, he has retired from the race. I believe he had some connection issues. So him, AJ Hobson, and Charlie Teed are all out of this race right now, and I believe Mark Amini has just retired due to connection as well.
Yeah, he has been blinking, so mechanicals for him. I think Hugo Gallus is also blinking, so they're just hanging out in the back of the field trying to hold on to see if their internet connection improves any. Still a long race to go here. 300 miles, one of our longest races of the season.
Clay Kirkenbauer high again in turn 2. He might have just missed the corner there. It seemed like there was no one on his inside, so I wonder if there was just a little bit of a miscommunication there. But yeah, now Clay Kirkenbauer falls out of 9th place. I believe he'll be in 10th now.
As he races Kenny Smith there. Wags back to the point. Stouffer 2nd. Murph and Brashear racing now for 3rd. The Brass Brothers, you normally hear them on our Thursday and Friday night coverage of the AMA. They're on the racetrack right now. They are teammates on Thursdays and Fridays, but not teammates when in the IndyCar. Murph representing IAR, Indy Alliance Racing. Caleb representing Team I5G. Of course, we are now at the start of the month of May. Team I5G, their big month. They all get up and ready to go for the Indy 500. And, of course, next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on P1, we will cover the top qualifier split of the Fixed Indy 500. That is the official iRacing Fixed Indy 500. The top qualifier split, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on P1. Got to check us out. Some of these same drivers in this lineup might actually be in that top split. Qualifications begin for the Fixed Indy 500 this week. Back to the front, Stouffer and Wags starting to pull away a little bit. Put a little daylight between themselves and Murph and Brashear. Brashear down low in the 1. Murph falls back in line. We are now 21 laps under this current stint, so probably another 5 to 10 laps for a lot of these drivers before they make the dive down pit road.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of gaps forming in the cars. Wow, Chris Albrecht almost got more contact there from Lilac Zier. Lilac was trying to shut the door, but Chris Albrecht was there. But all these small little battles and these small contacts are just spreading the field out quite a bit. So this is music to Chris Stouffer and Matt Wagner's ears, being out front like that, because even if they have a small pit error, they're only going to lose perhaps 2 or 3 spots. But for now, like the drivers up front are trying to stake their claim, and some of these drivers in the back need to get their act together and just do some swap drafting. Don't really battle too heavily, and perhaps those spots will come back to you later on.
We'll ride with Caleb Brashear as he is to the bumpers, the bumper pods of Mark Murphy. Here shifting gears in 6th gear, goes down to 4th gear in turn 1. Gets right to the rear pods. Murph defends a little to the inside. Oh, a little bit of a bump draft. Caleb Brashear gets right up there and gives him a how you do.
And of course, Christopher has pulled that gap again, and I think it just has to do with the tire wear as well. I think Matt Wagner is going to be calling his way into the pits now, so our first pit stop's happening.
Yeah, 23 laps on that stint. So didn't quite get to the 24 window, which I hypothesizing. So, but Wag spent some time leading the pack. So not getting optimal fuel economy by leading and punching a hole in the air. Right now, that role is being fulfilled by Chris Stouffer as he is leading this race, but he is not getting the best fuel mileage. We suspect that we will see him come down pit row in the next lap or 2.
Yes, Stouffer's coming in, Mark Murphy's coming in, Jeff Hysong is coming in, and this is a track that drivers don't mind pitting early because you could pit and still come out in front of the leader compared to a lot of these dark horse races that we watch here. So if you pit, you're just going to get your track position right back again if a caution were to come out right away.
We will ride with Mark Murphy down pit road as he's doing the old upshift, downshift trick on pit road to kind of fool the speed limiter. And he gets and slides into his box. Up on the jacks. New set of Firestone Firehawk tires and a full tank of racing fuel down and away as Stouffer beats him out.
And of course, Matt Wagner is ahead of steam coming down the pit straightaway into turn 1, but I don't think he's going to pick up any spots. I believe all these drivers are going to beat him out of the pit road. He may get one back as the cars are spooling back up to speed again. But a very, very poor choice for Matt Wagner to take that early pit stop there.
Black flag for Shane Dinsdale, speeding on pit road, so he will get a 40-second hold when he gets to his box. Now we'll watch this battle with the Wags, Forsyth, and Hysong. They are just off pit road on their stints as well, so Wags is now falling into the grasp of another dueling duo. That's going to slow him down as we see Zier, Albrecht, Peterson, Kirkenbauer all coming off of pit road. Now Hysong reaches Brashear, and they all freight train him on the Long Pond Straight going into 2. Now this battle, though, is a 4-car battle, but Brashear to the 4th spot of that battle.
And Matt Wagner is going to want to make quick work of these drivers. He's not so happy that he wasn't able to hold on to that front spot, and Stouffer is driving off into the distance as Wagner continues to battle these drivers. So the more he gets himself embroiled in this, the more he's going to lose time. So he gets to the front of this 4-car pack right now by passing Jeff Hysong there. So he's going to move himself back, but there's just not enough speed in these cars to make it all the way back up to where Stouffer was. And on top of it, Wagner has pit first, so he's going to have to pit first again. So now is the time where you might want to do something a little bit different, perhaps pit off sequence again, and maybe perhaps split the last 2 stops in half or something like that if you don't have to make a full tank to try and just get your best time on and off pit road.
Leaders are Stouffer and Murphy. And Stouffer, on that last stop, got in and out of pit road very efficiently. In fact, him and Murph, they're identical in the box. And actually, Stouffer was faster in the lane by only 1/10 of a second. But look at the lead on the racetrack. Andrew, it is 1.4 seconds. I mean, that is he optimized on that in lap and out lap to put some distance between himself and Murph and Wags, and he sure did.
Yeah, Stouffer already had that extra little bit of a buffer to second place, which at the time was Matt Wagner. So Murphy was even a little bit farther back. But if you were to just pretend that Wagner is in between those two cars, they all came on and off. Both of them came on and off pit about the same as you're mentioning.
If you're just joining us, this is P1 Broadcasting coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you from Pocono Raceway for the 8th running of the Dark Horse Pocono 300. We've completed now 39. We're out about the 100-mile mark now exactly of this 300-mile race. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race for us here on P1 will be our open wheel doubleheader Monday night, starting with Murph and Jacob Collins at 8. With the iRacing IndyCar Open Series Monday Night Top Split, immediately followed by Jacob Collins again and Sophie Connell with the Indy Next Road Series Top Split at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like open wheel racing, it's a good chance you do if you're watching tonight to make P1 your home Monday nights every night of the week for 2026. Don't miss it. Double headers every Monday night here on P1.
So Caleb Brashear has taken the front of that line, and they are slowly chipping away at Mark Murphy. Wagner is still trying to make up as much as he can, but at this point, just stay in line and stay in the draft to those ahead of you, because that gap from second to third is starting to close quite a bit here. Last lap, Murphy did a 42.2, Caleb Brashear 42.1, so that was another 10th there, and perhaps we have a swap draft situation going on right now between him and Jeff Hysong for P3, and if they keep this up, then Murphy is going to be making it a 5-car battle.
Do you see the purple lap set earlier in the race? Hysong way high through 2. Purple lap currently held by Peterson. There he is. Set that a little bit earlier in the race. The longest stint that time, on that last stint, like 26 laps. Peterson, Albrecht, Zier, Gary Lovern did 27. Pretty good. But unfortunately, I think, where we see Albrecht and Peterson down the long pond straight side by side, and Albrecht clears him. I think Lovern might have lost too much pace by conserving those extra laps. What will help him later in this race, if we stay green and he continues to do 27 lap stints, Andrew, as Peterson coming to pit road, only 6 laps in, does he have damage of some sort?
Checking the car now, I don't see anything that's sticking out to me. No parts of the Dallara flailing about or anything like that. I believe this might be unscheduled.
Going up on the jacks, going to get a new set of tires. We'll see if he comes down off the jack and continues the race. He does. So
I wonder if there was some,
stop.
Yeah, perhaps some glitch with the fuel intake or something like that. We see that in the real life as well. How many times during the 90s and 2000s car era did we see hoses didn't get inserted properly and things of that nature? And that stuff does carry over to the sim every once in a while if you don't have the right stuff tick marked and everything like that to fill up your car and everything. So perhaps just a driver error there.
Yeah, back in the 80s and 90s, the old Buckeye not sealing or the vent hose not connecting that allows the fuel to flow. Remember, even back in the 80s and 90s and still in today modern IndyCar, fuel is fed to these cars through a gravity feed system. It's not pressurized like it was in Formula One when Formula One did fuel changes or fuel stops. They require good old Newton to pull on that fluid to get into the car. And if you can't get the siphon to work, it will not work. Physics will not allow that to happen.
I don't know if I'd rely on Newton, Gary.
Oh,
Newton's
contact
there's
with
contact.
Brashear and wags off on one into the inside wall, just like we saw at Hobson. And is that going to be a caution, or are they well out of the way? I believe they are well out of the way. But that's going to be day done for those. They'll have to tow and execute the fast repair.
Man, that is like a carbon copy of the incident we saw with AJ Hobson and Charles T. We had Caleb Brashear diving to the low to the first lane 1 down in turn 1, and then of course the car has to go somewhere on the exit. You can't stay down there, and we can't adjust these cars with weight jacker or anything like that. So very unfortunate for both those drivers. And Caleb Brashear was having a hell of a race, just making his way forward little by little. And I think they were swap drafting, trying to catch Mark Murphy. And unfortunately, it just now has ended both of their races.
He just kind of slid up, and that's not a dirty air. I think they miscalculated the space or something, and you see both. And that's going to have championship implications on Wags, who is third in the points. Had a chance to get up to second, and he might still get the second with points earned from this race. But that is going to hurt his championship run, and that's one less championship contender for our defending series champion and now current point leader, Mark Murphy, who is sitting in second spot. And so now that you're Mark and you know that your chief combatants in the points championship, P2 and P3, are no longer part of this. Let me bring up the points one more time here on the screen. Peterson is a distant fourth in all this battle, and he is currently 11th in this race. If I'm Murph, put yourself in Murph's shoes. Sadly, I don't want to wish that on anybody, but go ahead, Andrew. Put yourself in Murph's shoes. Do you now ride this one out and just maximize your points? Do you push and maybe try for the win? I mean, what do you do now with 2 more rounds after today? And today being 300 miles, and your chief combatants are now out of it, and we haven't even reached the halfway point yet.
Yeah, well, of course, at this point in the race, Murph's just got to do what he's been doing for the whole entire race. He can't catch Stouffer just on pace alone. He doesn't really have a threat from behind, so just keep riding around and see how the race plays out. Like, at this point, I'm not really sure if he even knows. Well, I believe Wagner is disconnected from the session, so perhaps he's gotten an alert that way, but you know, every racing driver is just trying to do the best they can. If Murph was in a battle of sorts, perhaps he doesn't race so hard to do so, but then we wouldn't know Mark Murphy at the same time. But where we stand right now, he's just kind of turning laps and chugging laps and doing what he can. So just keep doing what you're doing and see what happens after the race in terms of the points.
Murph has 3 career wins here in the series, 1 championship. Of course, that was a season ago where he did not win a single race. Right behind him on the racetrack is Haisong. Haisong with the win a couple seasons ago at Michigan. And then Craig Forsyth, 4th on the racetrack, 3rd all-time in the Dark Horse Racing Series and wins with 12. He might like to have another one. But right now, currently, your leader is Chris Stouffer. Stouffer has himself 4 career wins here in the series. And if he gets a 5th one today, that will tie him with Luis Gonzalez Nunez, good old LGN. And as someone that you're familiar with, Henry Bennett.
Yes, of course. We always like to bring up Henry Bennett in these broadcasts, Gary.
Good old 007.
Yeah, poor Henry not racing with us in the Dark Horse Series anymore. We miss him. We miss him greatly.
We are 16 laps into this stint, so about another 10 more laps, and we're going to see these guys come to pit road again.
I should clarify. I made that sound like he is no longer with us, but he is still with us. He just is not racing in the series anymore. After I digested what I said, I need to clarify that. Sorry to everyone out there, to everyone watching.
It was, I think it was last race. We had Luca here. You were unavailable, and so Luca covered the last race. And of course, we had the Luis Gonzalez Nunez Driver of the Race Award, and Luis couldn't make the race because he wasn't feeling well. And Luca kept calling it the Luis Gonzalez Nunez Memorial Driver of the Race Award. And Lewis was like, I'm not
no.
dead yet.
Yeah, no memorials. We're broadcasters, Gary. We got to make sure we state our words correctly here.
No kidding. It's on record. Oh, big hitting the turn 2 curb there for Albrecht. So we're watching a three-car battle between Albrecht, Zier, and Levern.
You got another 3-car battle up ahead. The 3rd and 4th place drivers of Haisong and Forsyth have caught Mark Murphy. So maybe Murphy's listening to us and just kind of chilling, and now he's gotten a little too lazy, and now he's putting himself in a situation where 2nd place is in question.
If they could work together, they might be able to run down Stouffer. Stouffer 2.2 out in front of them. Currently have gaps on the tree between positions. We'll show you intervals here.
Yeah, Murphy just isn't that fast at the moment. Checking his lap times, he's got no damage on the car. So I'm curious as to why the pace just kind of started to go off there a little bit. I guess maybe there's a little bit of tire wear, but we were talking a little bit before about the temperature, and it didn't really seem like it was indicating any sort of high tire wear. Stouffer continues to just drive off into the distance. But maybe Murphy just has gotten bored and wants to race with someone as we see him try and retake 2nd place.
Track tip is down. It's only at 100 now. It was 101 last time we kind of checked in. Remember, Murph driving tonight on a hot spot on his phone. So, again, I don't know if that is impacting things or not. It's not an optimal situation.
Well, I wouldn't call it similar to driving a Tesla where your speed can be regulated, but,
Right.
you never know what could happen.
Forsyth just within. Oh, there Murph blinking out. There we go.
Your fault.
Knocking on wood. But Forsyth kind of falling behind this group a little bit. And you always got to be wondering what angle Forsyth is working. If he's not the fastest car on the racetrack, he's definitely working an angle, strategy-wise. Maybe trying to save a little fuel, maybe save the tires for later in the run. I don't know if you could see anything that Craig could be doing out there to saving those tires at all, but he's always working an angle. You know that too. You've known him for a long time as well. What do you think Forsyth is up to in that 4th spot?
Well, it's curious to see that both Murph and Forsyth have lost a little bit of pace, but Haisong is surging forward a little bit. So I'm wondering if maybe Jeff was playing around with doing a little bit of saving when they were in that big pack before, and now he's surging. And maybe there is a little bit more tire fall off and tire strategy than we think, Gary. We'll have to talk about it with the drivers in the post race, because as you can see, Forsyth and Murphy both seem to be losing a little bit of pace, but it is also possible they're trying to save fuel. In fact, I believe your 2nd and 3rd place drivers were both going to be pitting this lap.
Coming in right at lap 23 on their stint, currently serving lap 22. Remember, fixed setup races here in the DW12, unlike the IR18, you do not have the you do not have access. Actually, everybody, all the leaders coming in. In fact, Craig Forsyth staying out. So I'm thinking that maybe he was back there saving a little fuel and on those tires. And we'll expect to see him put down a lap or two as fast, as hard as he can, and maybe come to pit road. But remember, you do not have access to the weight jacker in these cars unless it's an open setup race. You do not have access to the the roll bars, the front and rear anti-roll bars, unless it's a open setup race. And on top of that, you don't have access to the engine mappings of this car. So the only way that you're able to save fuel is save it in the draft or with your right foot by lifting just a little bit, as we see Craig Forsyth, I think, make the turn down pit road this time.
Did Forsyth stay out the extra lap last time around?
He went 25 last time, 20 coming to 24 this time. All
right, so a little bit more fuel saving on the last stint there. Yeah, 24 seems to be the max. Perhaps Jeff just wanted to get it done and over with, but didn't realize that Murph was also coming in at the same time. But yeah, both their stops are done, so we'll see them again. We got 2 more stops left in this race, Gary. I think we're doing a 5-stopper because of the caution.
Yeah, it looks like we're into more of a 5-stop window, unless we get some late caution here. And again, with the field getting all stretched out, and it's not a huge field, 19 cars, but when you start getting stretched out here at Pocono, and then you've seen that we've had certainly two incidents that would have in real racing been cautions for sure. But in iRacing, it just doesn't spawn an auto caution. We might just see this race finish under green flag conditions, unless there's a situation on track that brings out the auto steward caution.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I still find it interesting that everybody took a pit stop on the first caution there, only 10 laps into the race. That definitely was a missed opportunity for some of these drivers that were racing in the back to get some track position. Obviously, it's all thinning out and spreading out exactly how probably everyone would have imagined that it would. But yeah, that extra pit stops is still a head scratcher to me, Gary.
Kenny the Jet Smith currently showing as retired or out of the cockpit at the moment. Not sure what happened to him. But Gary Lovern on pit road as your leader. Again, Lovern going long like he did last time, but getting passed by Stouffer on the straightaway. Murph is second. Forsyth has jumped Highsong. Highsong back to fourth. Oh, and black flag. Gary Lovern coming off of pit road.
Yeah, Mr. Smith there came into the pits and just exited the car, so not really sure what's going on there. No damage, no nothing. Perhaps there was some personal issue to attend to, but yeah, that's unfortunate for Gary, who's already been beaten up a little bit on track today.
And Stouffer extends his lead now to 2.9 seconds. And he does enjoy the longer races here. One of his previous wins here in the series was a 500-miler during that special 4-race summer series they did back in 2024, where they did 4 500-mile races at the 4 Triple Crown tracks. And Stouffer over Forsyth in that race by 4.2 seconds. He's kind of on pace to do that again in this particular race, only at 300 miles. Matty Wags finished third. 14 cars started that race. We had more cars start this race. 5 cars finished on the lead lap, and that was also a caution-free race. So, Andrew and I, Andrew, you have sat through a caution-free 500-miler.
Oh, I sure have. And I couldn't move my neck for the entire next day. That was a fun race, though, I have to admit. Like, there was just a lot of strategy, a lot of trying to figure out, like, when the caution was going to come, and it just never did.
I have done, in recent memory, 3 caution-free 500-miler broadcasts. This one of them for Dark Horse, 1 in the Elite Racing League, actually 2 in the Elite Racing League. They did a 500-miler, we did a Indy 500 a couple of seasons ago, and then a California 500 this season as caution-free. So 3 of those races I've done. I've been a racer in 2 races that I would have suspected would have had multiple cautions at multiple occasions at iRacing Super Speedway and Daytona and IndyCars. Those went caution-free. So,
wow, an iRacing Super Speedway race with no caution sounds like a it doesn't exist.
It did 75. They did it. It was it was a 75 lap race in the Revolution Indy League back in 2020. Actually, I led some laps in that race. It became a fuel save, and I'm like, no, I'm not saving because I think there's going to be a caution during this. It never came. I went right to the front. I was expecting a caution, and it never came, and it turned into a fuel save.
Yeah, come back to me when there's a caution-free race at Richmond, and then we'll really kind of go wild there.
I did a caution-free race a week ago at Gateway. That's pretty good. And not a short race either, a 325-mile race, a full-length race.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Gateway typically has its own issues with cautions and everything, but yeah, like Richmond, I don't think you can go more than 40, 50 laps without a caution in any league or any series that you possibly could think of. We're going to have Eric Peterson making a pit stop here. And again, he's off sequence from some issue he had earlier. We'll call it the Buckeye issue.
Yep, he went 22 laps on this particular stint. So this will not be his final stop. He will have to make another stop after this.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you're doing the math out, as I was just trying to do there, you can make it to about like 113, 114. So there'll be a splash for Eric Peterson at the end of the race as well.
Leader is now Stouffer by 2.8 seconds. Mark Murphy is in second. Forsyth is in third. And the battle between Forsyth and Murphy has kind of separated a little bit. And again, are we going to see maybe Forsyth reel in Murph towards the end of this stint? As we saw kind of in the end of that last stint where Forsyth kind of saved tires and fuel and went longer than everybody.
Trying to see if I think Eric Peterson's going to stay on the lead lap here. Yeah, so Eric Peterson is just the next car to get lapped by Christopher. So, yeah, Eric Peterson had to unfortunately take that extra pit stop, but if a caution does happen to come out now, then he will be on an even playing field with everyone. And in fact, if one comes out in the next lap or two, he will be the leader because he'll get the track position back and then not pit again.
Forsyth has caught Murph down the Long Pond Straight going into two. Murph loses the position to Forsyth. Move Craig Forsyth, and now the 4D cars dominate the top two spots in this race as Murph goes back to the inside at turn 3. They're going to drag a race down the main straight. A little bit of a waggle there by Forsyth coming off the corner. I think he was trying to make sure he had a good enough room granted. Oh, slides up. Feeds the dirty air to Murph. He kind of sent it in the one. Now they're going to drag race down the Long Pond stretch. Murph's going to have the preferred position to the inside coming into Indianapolis. Murph gets the position.
You know, you bring up the waggle that Forsyth had there. We've seen that from several cars tonight, haven't we? Cars that are trying to give room on the inside. Next thing you know, that they're close to the wall on the exit. We've seen it in turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3 multiple times from drivers that are trying to let others go. So it's almost like the marbles really are starting to take effect here. You try and turn, and the next thing you know, you can't.
12 cars still on the racetrack. The top 9 all on the lead lap right now. Caleb Brashear has repaired. He is back racing. He's in 10th, 1 lap down. Gary Lovern in 11th, 1 lap down. Hugo Gallas currently in 12th, 7 laps down. So the last 3 cars
entering the pits right now.
Yep, and this will be a scheduled stop for him, so he will probably fall down another lap here. I saw him getting close to this battle now.
We've spawned a 13th car on the racetrack, Gary. Ken Smith is back. So whatever issue he had, he's back.
Good. Gets him, turn it into an extended test session for Kenny the Jet. He is 11 laps down now in 13th.
You know, it's not very often that we have more cars appear on the racetrack.
Right. Maybe the pizza delivery came much later than anticipated for Kenny.
A la Julian Altena. I wonder if he's eating at the same time.
Don't do that, Kenny. Don't do that, Kenny.
So Caleb Brashear exited the pits, parked, and then towed. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Maybe he's trying to make sure there's only 12 cars on the track. I'm not really sure what Brashear did there.
Murph up into the turn 1 exit wall as he's racing Forsyth. And, Murph, checking chat, Wags from the Infield Care Center. not very happy right now. And Wags has been in position to win a number of championships and a number of leagues. And just one thing or another kind of prevents him from getting that championship secured. And this might be the incident today, might be the one that kind of puts the kibosh and the nail in the coffin for the championship for Season 9 here in Dark Horse.
I hate to admit it, but I also can relate to that, Gary.
Right, I understand.
I've never won a sim championship in any car ever in my life, and I've come close many times. It's very disheartening, and you know, I not to sound too sad about it, because what brought me into the booth doing some commentating was that exact fire to do something different in the Area 51 League, where I lost to Nick DeGroot by 4 points, and I decided to quit the league, but decided to give commentating a try when there was an opening, and here I am now.
Our own version of T-Bell and Hinch.
That's definitely the way to put it, yeah. You're T-Bell.
So, do I have to come up with stupid things like the Sultan of Sketch? Forsyth coming to pit road.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're gonna eventually put up some sort of graphic on the P1 broadcasting on the bottom left that it flashes whenever Gary's about to do an IndyCar stat of the past. We're gonna call it like Gary's Google Gary. Or something
we
like that.
have that. It's the Gary's IndyCar lesson during the IIS. We have a graphic now that comes up that goes over all the stats that I talk about. For instance, if we were in the IIS, I would be telling you that. Your IndyCar career wins leaders here at Poconos: AJ Foyt with 4, Rick Mears and Will Power are tied for second with 3, as we see Murph coming to pit road this time. Danny Sullivan, Al Unser Sr., and Bobby Unser each have 2. Uncle Bobby's wins were here in under Cart and USAC. And the furthest back to ever start and win a race here was Scott Dixon. He started 17th in 2013, but that was only a 400-mile race. So he had less time to work with in that particular race. But very, very much Scott Dixon's MO to win a race that far back.
That's probably where it got solidified right there.
Right. In fact, I have to send that those little nuggets of info to our graphics person to prepare a graphic for this Friday. Actually, it's Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. The IndyCar iRacing Series top split will actually be moving it to a special 4 p.m. Eastern special Friday start because we normally run at about 2 o'clock on Saturdays, but the Indy GP is held on Saturdays, so we would conflict. So we moved it to Friday. So that will be Friday at 4, and then 5 hours after that, I'll be back in the booth for a 500-miler for the fixed Indy 500. So it's going to be this Friday. It's going to be a busy evening of broadcasting and sim racing. Murph and Forsyth, 7th and 8th, side by side.
Yeah, it looks like actually Forsyth was going to kind of blow Murphy's doors off coming out of the pit road, but didn't really get up to speed. I'm sorry, Murphy got up to speed a little quicker than we had probably predicted. So the two of them are back together again, and Jeff was racing with them. He's kind of racing by himself.
Yeah, he's all by himself right now in second. Stouffer is now your leader by 5.2. And Stouffer now, if he wanted to, could conserve a little bit as he is now 21 laps into a set. Went 23 last time. And with the 5-second lead, I mean, he could, you can't really necessarily throttle back, but, you know, he could lift and breathe it a little bit if he wants to.
Yeah, now that we confirmed that everyone's got 2 stops left, now the door's open to basically pit whenever you want, and there's no real advantage to doing it early or late just because you won't lose the lap. So it's dealer's choice at this point.
Birkenbauer on pit road for a scheduled stop. Does Stouffer make the turn down? Doesn't look like it. He's very high in the groove off of 3. And a very awkward kind of pit in here at Pocono, mainly because of where they have the cones. There we see Haisong coming to pit road. If this was actually properly set up for IndyCar, those cones would be a little bit further down inside the wall. But because it's kind of set up for stock cars here, the cones are set up at exactly where the wall starts. So that's where the speed trap starts, the speed zone starts. And so to really slow down, to get down to the, what was the pit road speed limit here is? It is 55. To get down to the 55 mile per hour pit road speed limit, you're watching here. See, he's coming down much lower on in the groove there, and then you really have to be at 55 now, right there on the button at 55, and now you have this huge long run down pit road here to his stall. Now he's actually started 11th, so he's going to be about a third of the way through, or halfway through the field of starters here. But he gets down to a spot. So a very long pit road journey. We see Chris Albrecht coming down pit road as well. Also Lilac on pit road. And then as soon as he gets past that green cone, he can get off the button and 100% acceleration. And here comes Murph and Forsyth, head of steam, coming into 1.
Well, this is as close as they've been yet, and they were battling for quite a bit the last few laps. So if the battling hadn't really ensued, then they possibly could be closer to the lead than they think. But at the end of the day, Stouffer's at a huge advantage right now just because he waited longer to pit. He possibly just has less fuel to take on in general for the rest of the race compared to these drivers that came in and decided to top off early. So I assume they topped off on lesser fuel, so perhaps their pit delta might have been a little bit shorter, but I think Stouffer just has the advantage for staying out longer. Probably filled up and going to have to take less fuel later on in the race.
Oh! Again, almost up in the wall off of 1 for Forsyth. Stouffer at full chat now. He got it down. They got it down to about 1.3 second, but Stouffer pulling back out to now 1.8. So again, Stouffer showing that he is the Pocono Whisperer, dominating this race right now over Murph and Forsyth.
I wonder if Haisong had a bad pit stop because he was close to the podium there, and now he's about 3 seconds back.
Remember, Haisong got jumped the last time they came to pit road, so I think Haisong might be just in pit road conservation, just getting to pit road, making sure you don't make a dumb mistake that's going to cost you 40 seconds and a lap here.
A good day for Jeff. I believe you mentioned he's P5 in the standings, so this would be a really, really great run for him if he's able to keep 4th spot.
Yep, here are the standings once more. Just bring those up. Haisong 5th. He might jump Peterson out of this. And we'll get really close to Wags. Really close to Wags. Birkenbauer is going to lose, I think, a little bit of ground to Wags, maybe. Not much. I don't know if there's going to be enough for Wags to move up in the second now, just by starting. But those are your points coming into the race.
Peterson loses a spot to Chris Albrecht in turn 1 there. I believe Peterson's going to be nearing his next pit stop as well. He's got...
he's at 18.
36 to go. Yeah, so in the next 5 laps, he'll be in. And yeah, unfortunately, he's got to do a splash unless we see a caution. And of course, in Peterson's case, like I mentioned a while back, he's going to look for a caution to come out as he's in pit lane or exiting, because he will go straight to the lead.
Hey, if you
I wonder if that would happen, Gary. I was thinking of the possibility, like, let's get excited about it. Not that I want anyone's race to end, but if a caution comes out
there you go.
On his out lap, that's Eric Peterson's gift to the front.
You can knock on the wood now. See if you might jinx this thing. Hey, if you like what you see and want to be a part of the Dark Horse Racing Series and their DW12s. Right here, as we see Gary Levern make a turn down pit road in the distance here between this battle between Murph and Forsyth for second and third. If you like what you see, you want to be a part of this, remember, this car is free. It is part of your base subscription with iRacing. Many of the tracks they use, for instance, this is Legacy Pocono. Legacy Pocono, I believe, is like, what, $5 in the store? They go to Legacy Michigan, which is another $5. So a lot of the tracks they use tend to be the Legacy tracks if they're available. So, again, not very expensive. Plus, the league is free. They'll take your donations, of course. But to join the league is free. The car is free. All you have to do is be a paid subscriber to iRacing and have the tracks and the drive. And voila, you can be part of the Dark Horse Racing Series and their DW12s, and just join the Discord server. The link is in the invite link is actually in the description to learn more and to be a part of the league. This is the longest running DW12 series on all of iRacing. That's a league. We're not comparing this at all to the Dallara Dash. That is an official iRacing series. But this is just a private league. So this is the longest league that has been using the DW12. And right now, I believe plans are in the works for a season 10. So they've been around for a while, and I suspect they'll be around for a little while longer. If you'd like to be a part of it, this is a very fun car to drive, Andrew. You've done pretty well in this car. You've done at the Lionheart level. You got to win. So this is a very I like driving this car. This was a very fun car to drive.
Yeah, definitely, and I really wish that that Lionheart League was still around, because that was one of the most fun leagues I've been in a long time. Just 35 cars every week and really, really good drivers. And if you're not on it, you're off it. So that was really, really a fun league to drive, and I'm happy that I got a couple wins in my first season there.
Going through the top 10 right now as we go down through the field. Joseph Morales in 9th. He is the last car on the lead lap. Gary Levern in 10th. Clay Kirkenbauer, Peterson back on pit road. Actually, this is going to be a scheduled stop. This is at 22. So definitely one more stop in Peterson's future.
I'm staying quiet. I'm not saying anything.
We will see what happens if Peterson comes up to speed here. He comes out right around our leader. That is
Maybe
Gary Levern.
Barney just needs to be woken up a little bit.
There's Gary Levern. That's a battle for position right there. That gets Levern into 9th. Actually, sorry, it doesn't. That's not in the 9th. Levern actually is in 10th, but he's on an entirely different lap than Peterson. Sorry.
Yes, and yeah, Levern got that from that speeding penalty that we saw 2 stops ago.
But right now, Peterson is locked into 9th. Levern is kind of locked into 10th. Because there's nobody else on those laps. Go back to the battle between Forsyth and Murphy. This has been your closest battle pretty much since the field started to separate.
Well, Jeff has brought that gap down to about 2 seconds. It was just over 3 seconds before, so there is some fall off that Murphy has. It's interesting to see that he's not able to just keep the same pace throughout the whole stint. He has Forsyth to tow him along a little bit, but we saw 2 stints ago where both both Forsyth and Jeff were able to track him down.
Let's ride with High Song as he gets to the trap in the turn 1, 2, 16 to 17. I believe the IR18s, when they come here, will be faster than that now. We've got it recently in the IR18. This is a legacy status car, so no more developed, no more code is really being poured into this car. Every now and then there's an update to this car. I think they updated the damage model on it, was the last update I remember. But the IR18 had a boost increase in the last update. And so it should be faster here at Pocono. in these laps that we're seeing turned right now by these DW12s.
I'll have to give that a try, Gary. I'm not thrilled about that. I'm not great at this track as it is. I say that as I always drive this track and I feel like I'm lost here and I'm never driving the right lines, but for some reason I always finish well. This track has always been very confusing for me, where I don't feel like I have any pace or strategy at all, but somehow at the end of it I always wind up towards the front. It's a very frustrating track to get around because you feel like you do every corner wrong. And, you know, we pointed out before that the 3 corners are different in their own right, so you could feel like you're doing every corner wrong and not have any pace, and next thing you know, you're like, wait, I'm in third. How is that
Right.
Is that possible?
Right. Turn 1 is deceptively weird. There is no other turn that you can compare turn 1 to, because the track it's built and it was based off of is no longer around. It's not in the sim. If iRacing ever gets into the business of putting historical tracks into the sim, which I would love for them to do, I don't know if they would ever do it. Trenton would be a great one, because Trenton was basically a mile and a half, I think, at its late stages. Kidney bean shaped track. So think of Phoenix, but with the dog leg in the opposite direction. So you're actually on an oval, but at some point on the oval, you're turning right on the kidney bean. And so turn 1, turn 1 here is based upon that. So they got nothing else. So turn 1 it's very weird, and I kind of get what you're saying, because sometimes you do feel lost because there's multiple lines through turn 1. There's a preferred line when your tires are fresh. There's a preferred line when you're kind of racing someone, and there's a preferred line when your tires are kind of old. So you can't go through an entire run in turn 1 hitting the same spot all the time. Turn 2 here, because it's based upon old Indianapolis, not current Indianapolis. Again, turn 2 here was based upon the pre-93 adding the pit lanes to Indianapolis. So remember, the old Indianapolis had a lot of apron available to it.
Apron, yeah. Then that we saw that, especially all the big highlights from the 80s, right?
Right. And so you when you go through turn 2, you're like, that doesn't feel like Indianapolis. And, well, it's not anymore. It's based upon a version of Indianapolis that we have not seen in a sim since the EA Sports Indy 500, the simulation game, the precursor to all you see here by the Papyrus Group. That had the apronless Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I would love for iRacing to figure out how to scan that in. You know, on a side note, and I'm getting, because we have no racing going on here. You know, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, did you see that they have the blueprints for the original road course that they wanted to build? Did you see that? That Doug Bowles pulled out of the archives? I don't know if Andrew's still here. He might have had to fall away. Okay, anyways. Indianapolis Motor Speedway does have the original infield road course blueprints of the when they built the track. And I'm thinking that if you have the blueprints and you could give those measurements to iRacing and they could somehow figure out how to work that into the scan of a track, I think that could be an option that iRacing could make available to customers if those numbers truly, really do exist. And, well, they do. I saw the blueprint myself in a Doug Bowles Indianapolis Motor Speedway video. But anyways, turn 2 here based upon old Indianapolis. Turn 3, I guess that's about the only course that is unchanged is Milwaukee. And with Milwaukee, the interesting part of this version versus what you turn at Milwaukee is you're going through turn 3 here much faster than you would be heading through turns 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 at Milwaukee. So it doesn't even drive the same there. So you do feel like when you drive this racetrack, you are searching for the best line. Like, for instance, we just saw Stouffer go through turn 2 there. Turn 2 feels like you're threading the eye of the needle. You just have to get to the bottom.
And not hit the curb.
Right there.
Especially in the legacy Pocono. The new Pocono is a little bit more forgiving in some aspects.
Murph coming to pit road. Jeff Hysong coming with him. This will be final stop for both these guys. So they're going to try for an undercut.
Came out. Yep. Forsyth just came out of the pits, so we're going to see where he comes down the front straightaway in relation to both Murph and Jeff. My quick little input. I feel like Term 1 is almost turning into what the new Texas Term 1 is like in some aspects.
Okay.
They've reprofiled Texas, right? Turn 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of has turned into that a little bit. It's not as progressive as the Pocono Turn 1. But it definitely, if you were trying to say there's no other real circuit that has a situation like Turn 1 at Pocono, but it almost kind of has a Texas feel to it. You have to obviously brake and lift at Texas, but it has the same kind of profile, in my opinion.
Forsyth got the drop on Murphy by undercutting him on pit road, and he has himself a nice little lead over the points leader, who is now running in 7th, as we see Stouffer in the background coming to pit road for his final stop here at lap 101.
Well, that's interesting indeed. If he was able to pick up Murphy there, Forsyth must have had a great in and out time, and I wonder if there's any chance that Forsyth could get closer to Stouffer.
We'll ride with Forsyth as he comes through 2. We'll show you the gaps. He has himself a nice gap back to Murphy at 1.7 seconds, so the draft envelope is broken. Coming off of 3 down the straightaway, the longest straightaway that these IndyCars race on an oval. There goes Stouffer off in the distance there as he's riding the bottom off of 1, still coming up the speed. Here comes Forsyth. He's at full chat through 1 and through 2, but he's not going to be able to get there.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning before. Now I remember that Stouffer had waited to pit that second time around. And I think he just had less fuel to take on, so it was going to really be an uphill climb for any of these drivers to catch him. But it's very interesting to see that Murphy has just managed to fall back farther and farther in this race. He was right up with Stouffer in the first stint, or the stint after the caution, so that'd be the second stint, and just managed to lose little bits and pieces here and there. And now, obviously, there's less time to waste on these tires, so I don't think there'll be much fall off for Murphy, but I would be worried if it was a full stint, if he would lose more time to Craig and fall back into the clutches of Jeff.
Lilac Zier, current leader, coming to pit road in the Janet Guthrie throwback scheme. Lilac on pit road for her final stop. That will turn the lead over to Chris Stouffer, coming off a 3 down the main straightaway. $16 to go here at Pocono. If you're just joining us, you're watching P1's broadcasting coverage of round 7 of 9 of season 9 of the Dark Horse Racing Series, presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you from Pocono Raceway for the 8th running of the Pocono Dark Horse 300. Currently, Chris Stouffer looking for his second career win here to join Rick Ravon and Eric Schaus, who are 2-time winners here at this racetrack here in the Dark Horse Series. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race here for the Dark Horse Series for us here will be Sunday, May 31st, when the teams and drivers head to Homestead, Miami. That's another place that Stouffer does pretty well at for round 8 of season 9 for the 6th running of the Dark Horse Miami 225. Coverage starts on the 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the penultimate round of the championship before they head off to Indianapolis to determine the season 9 champion. And, of course, the tonight's 8th running of the Dark Horse Pocono 300 and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by 4D Racewear, sponsors of your leader. Check out 4D's line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel right now. And also race awards and custom championship rings for your league. If you'd like to give your champion a custom ring, you can do that now with 4D Racewear. Check them out today, 4dracewear.com, or click on the link in the description. And don't forget, if you want to race and be a part of the Dark Horse Racing Series, the car is free, the league is free. All you need are the tracks and the drive. Look on the Discord link in the description to get started. Really no close battles on the racetrack as Stouffer and Forsythe, the Ford E-cars, looking to lock out the top two steps of the podium. And Andrew, they've done it the hard way. I mean, they did not have great qualifications to start this race. They had to do it kind of the old-fashioned way, as the old Smith Barney commercial was back in the 80s. They did it the old-fashioned way. They earned it. Stouffer up 10 spots. Craig Forsythe up 11 to be 1 and 2 right now in the running order with 14 to go.
Well, you were mentioning that Craig Forsythe always has something up his sleeve. We don't know what that is. We could probably inquire when we talk to him after the race, but something was up his sleeve in order to gain all those spots. Perhaps Stouffer gave him a little bit of advice along the way, because as you mentioned, Stouffer came from pretty far back in the field as well. So Fordy had something going for them tonight, and they probably just said, maybe my qualifying could have been better, but I'll make my way to the front eventually.
And there we see Murph, our points leader, who will extend his points lead here in about 13 laps. He'll still need to bring it home. A lot can still happen as he goes to the high side over Gary Lovern and gets the track position. Jeff Hysong looking to finish fourth. Hysong, last two seasons have been pretty good here in the Dark Horse Racing Series, the old DW12s. Got a win last season at Michigan. And right now, looking at a top 5 in the points for this championship. This campaign wears down. We'll get the driver inputs off there. There we go. Here is your remaining schedule for the season. Homestead and then Indianapolis in June to wrap up the campaign.
We got some... Thanks for staying with us for this race here. We got some drivers or some people chiming in on the chat there.
Stouffer don't miss. Yes, Stouffer, like I said, he is the Pocono Whisperer. We've seen him win many times at this racetrack. IR18s, DW12s.
I don't know how much an iRacing subscription goes for these days, though. I can't answer that question.
Like $13 a month, something like that. 14, 15 bucks a month. I mean, you could do it a couple ways. You could do it off of Steam, which I don't necessarily recommend. I don't think I want to launch iRacing from another launcher. Sign up. All right, so new memberships right now are 30% off. You can get 1 month. Try it today at $9.10 a month, and then the regular price is $13 a month. You could buy them in 3 months increments. Right now, if you sign up right now, if you've not been or I would imagine if you've not been a member or you've been a past member, this might be a renewal too. It's a $23.10 for 3 months, and then it becomes $33 every 3 months. And then you can pay for a year if you want at $77 a year for the initial offer, and then $110 a year after that. And you can actually pre-buy 2 full years if you want, and that is at $140 for one-time cost for 2 years, and then after that it's $200 every 2 years. But that just gets you a membership here to iRacing, and then after that, much of the cars and tracks you have to buy. However, this car is free. It's part of your base subscription, so you'll get the DW12 for free. But you would have to buy, for instance, if you wanted to participate in this race tonight, you would have to buy Legacy Pocono, and that's a $5, I believe that's a $5 racetrack, one of their legacy tracks. Most cars are what, $10, and you
around
own the car.
Like 12,
yeah,
12 or 13.
And most tracks are about 15. And then the great thing, when you own a track or you own the track license, you don't own a track. You actually own the license to use it, because that software doesn't sit resident on your machine. You'll find out when you become part of iRacing. If that track ever gets a new scan or they update it, or all those are free. And sometimes they keep the old scans of the tracks. Like, for instance, Atlanta, you have access to not only the new Plate Atlanta version, but you have access to the redesigned version that they redesigned at, 97-ish, 96-ish, somewhere in there. They still have access. You'll still have access to that.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, you still have access to the old Formula One road course, for instance. That's another. And some racetracks that are no longer being raced at that they did manage to scan in the past. For instance, there's a number of small tracks, short tracks like that. But the Detroit, the Belle Isle course, everyone loves that now compared to the new Detroit course, which is, I can't say it, but it's crap.
Poo.
But yeah, it's right. But yeah, you can still get. You can
send for you in my head.
Go right ahead. But you can still race at the old Detroit course, because that track is available on iRacing. And there are a number of other sims out there that have other tracks that are historical, but the iRacing prides itself on actual scans of racetracks. But then they'll release something like iRacing Super Speedway, which is neither scanned nor historical. Well, it's historical if you're a NASCAR Racing 2003 fan. Stouffer coming to 5 to go. There are no close battles. Actually, we are getting a bit of a close battle. Chris Albrecht starting to reel in Jeff Hysong in the late stages here.
Yeah, it seems that Jeff has lost a little bit of the pace that he ordinarily had. He did fall back a little bit in the last stint, but yeah, he's falling into the clutches of Chris Albrecht now. He just has to hang on for 5 more laps, but Albrecht has come with a head of steam. He's just kind of quietly been hanging around the middle part of the top 10 here all race long.
Remember, Albrecht is the defending champion of Indianapolis here, the Dark Horse Racing Series. Won that last season, back in October. And that kind of was a precursor to him winning the pole at Indianapolis in the Elite Racing League and their October Indy 500 last year. As he is now, he's reached Hysong, but Hysong's making it wide and difficult for him. 4 laps to go here at Pocono.
Yeah, in fact, it looks like Jeff picked up the pace a little bit last lap. He's doing the weave down Long Pond straightaway, like you were mentioning. That's going to break a little bit of the draft, but yeah, it looks like Jeff might hang on. Maybe Jeff was getting a little lazy and missing corners here and there, which allowed Albrecht to get close. But now he's like, oh, I still have to race for the next 4 laps, so let me get going again.
Buckle down as he does the little bit of a weave down the front straight, trying to break the draft. Albrecht not even going to go scrub off the speed. He's just going to hold the straight line.
And of course, at this point, all these drivers have been racing by themselves. It's very easy to start wondering, man, it's Monday tomorrow. What's my work week going to be like? And your mind starts to wander, and you start to you can't hit your marks as well as you originally thought you could.
Gopher looking for his first win of the season, as we are now 2 to go. We started this season at Auto Club. That went to Mark Murphy, who won the first race of the season, going into the season as the defending series champion, and coming off a season where he won the championship and not a single race. Indy Kirkenbauer won at Charlotte, our first ever race at Charlotte. Then Matty Wags won 2 in a row at Iowa and Michigan to get him into the points battle. Jeremy McGill won his first career Dark Horse race at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway back in the end of March. White flag in the air this time by. And then Indy Kirkenbauer won his second career race and second race of the season at Texas a few weeks ago. And now Chris Stouffer looking for his first win of the season. And this will be his, he still needs to get around and count it but this will be his 5th career win, and like I said, it will tie him with Henry Bennett and Luis Gonzalez Nunez all time here in the Dark Horse Racing Series. Coming to turn 3 for the final time for the man known as the Pocono Whisperer. Once again, showing why he is called that. Getting another win here at Pocono in the Dark Horse Racing Series. Chris Stouffer with a dominant win here in the Tricky Triangle. Craig Forsyth is going to occupy the second step of the podium for 4D as they're going to lock out the top 2 spots. And Murph, probably going to get the most maximization of points here in the points championship, comes home 3rd, and we will see how the points shake out when those are updated. That is your podium. You see Stouffer, Forsyth, Murph, Jeff Heisong with another top 5. Chris Albrecht finishing 5th. Lilac Zier in 6th. Clay Kirkenbauer in 7th. Joe Moe in 8th. Eric Peterson 9th. Gary Lovern in 10th. You got Hugo, the Jet Kitty Smith, and 12th. Caleb Bashir 13th. Matty Wags 14th. Denzel 15th. Mark Amini 16th. Miguel, Teed, and Hobson rounding out the remainder. Of this 19-car field. That's it.
Yeah, it was a long race for sure. It was good to see everyone, despite the lack of battles up and down the field there, all these drivers just stuck with it and wanted to get a really good finish. And, you know, every lap you turn, you learn something new, especially at a track where, hey, maybe you don't practice as much as you want to and just start pounding laps, and you're like, oh, I could turn a little earlier there, or I could maybe ride this seam or something like that. And if you start taking your races to that aspect of it, it actually sometimes goes by a little faster than you think.
And in honor of Alex Zanardi, he is putting down some tight donuts.
That's the way to be.
Alex would be very proud of that. Of course, remember the whole donuts tradition now of even at other series. You know, you see it all the time now in the Cup Series with burnouts and donuts. It started with Alex Zanardi. I believe it started at, was it Long Beach or was it? I know Portland was kind of where it made famous because I think that's where Ganassi had to pay a fine for him. I think it started at Long Beach.
Area, unfortunately.
I think it started at Long Beach, yeah.
I did watch the 1996 season, but I don't quite remember where the donut started.
All right. And I do want to refresh to see admins are pretty quick about updating points here. See if we got an update on points. Not yet. All right. We'll get into the interview room and bring in Murph. And here is Murph joining us, finishing 3rd today. And I guess the best possible situation that could come out of not getting the win, it's finishing on the podium. Despite your degraded internet status that we talked about during the broadcast, still come home 3rd, and your chief combatants either didn't start today or had problems on the racetrack, getting one step closer now to extending your lead and getting one step closer to possibly backing up your championship from a season ago.
Yeah, it's first of all, thanks to Verizon and iPhone and all the fine people that make those wonderful products. AT&T let us down today. We were having people over. It was my daughter's first communion. We were having people over. We heard a zot and no more internet. So I didn't get to watch the Braves game this afternoon. Didn't get to watch the NASCAR race. I don't know how I'm going to be able to go. I don't know how I'm going to work tomorrow because I work at home and I don't have any internet. But we did it off a we did it off a cell phone hotspot tonight, so that's pretty cool. But overall, just a fun day. I messed up and smacked the wall coming off of turn one pretty hard about mid race, and I don't know if it showed any damage, but there was definitely some degraded aero because the car was fine for about 10 laps and then it just plowed like a dump truck. So I'm sure I didn't do it any good, but it was still fast enough, and I didn't want to use my fast repair and risk something happening later on. So kind of kind of had to live with it. But Craig was able to run me down pretty easy and get by, and then I was just hoping Jeff wouldn't get to me and we could finish on the podium. So we did that, and you know, job done. Anytime you can finish on a podium to Stouffer and Forsyth, you've had a good day, Gary.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, good job on your finish there, Murph. I'm curious. We were talking a lot during the race, especially about the unique aspects of this track. Is there a certain turn on this track that gets you a little more than others? Is there one that, now that you've had all these laps to kind of race by yourself and work it out, is there a corner that you feel like you've improved, or do you have a favorite one? Talk to us about what you think about Pocono.
Well, most of my experience here is on the new scan. This one is very, very, very difficult. All the differences in the corners are very much highlighted because the pavement's all wore out. So there's much less margin for error. Uh, if I had to pick one, I never figured out turn three in the whole race. I don't really feel like I got through there good until about lap 110. I kind of discovered that the patch of asphalt down the middle was the fastest way and not on the bottom like it is on the new scan. So yeah, I mean, turn three was the bane of my existence, but turn one was tricky because the car would feel so good for about 10 laps on new tires, and then it just like instantly it was just like a light switch. You'd go down through there, and then all of a sudden there'd be no grip on exit, and you knock the wall down. So I need to take my Pocono. I need to take my Pocono stuff back to the drawing board. I feel lucky to get out here with a podium.
Well, Murph, you're still the points leader. 249 over 208. Wags is now second in the points. He has 41 points behind you. He just sneaked ahead of Indy for second. Indy's 45 behind. So I believe it's now just you three are fighting for the championship with these next couple of races left. So getting closer and closer, got a little time off again, and then we head to Homestead Miami Speedway. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to everybody at P1. Thanks to everybody watching. Sorry that Mike Rigney didn't get to fund Matt Wagner's entire broadcast season for next year because Wags took himself out before he could take me out. So thanks for that, Mike. Thanks to everybody at the Alliance, Indy Alliance. It was fun racing with Brashear and Wags and Chris Albrecht tonight too. I got to thank LC Motorsports, Mark Cohn, Peterson, and Schaus, and everybody that puts this league on. This Dark Horse League is a fine league, and I really hope that everybody was entertained. I got to thank Admin Box, Black Magic Studios, and wonderful Miss Natalie for letting me indulge in this crazy hobby for sure.
All right, we'll see you at the next one when we get to Homestead, but still the points leader, finishing third today. That is Mark Murphy.
Yep, keep going fast and having fun, boys.
Let's bring down now, and before we do, Marf is, I said, mentioned, is the points leader at 249. Matty Wag second, 208. Indy third, 209. Haisong fourth at 189. Peterson is in fifth at 185. Then it's Stouffer, Lovern, Guillermo Miguel. Stouffer and Lovern are in a tie, but since Miguel has a win this season, I believe that gives him the tiebreaker. Hugo Gallas is in the next position. Then there's Clay and then Lilac. I think that's between those names that I just mentioned. That's going to be basically your top 10 when the ties and everything are broken. So we still have two more rounds after this. Of course, Homestead Miami is next, and then again Indianapolis. Let's bring in Craig Forsyth, and here is Craig Forsyth joining us. third all-time in the Dark Horse Racing Series in wins, and another podium for you today, sir. A two-time champion here in the league, and coming home second today to kind of lock out 4D Racewear on the top two steps of the podium, and a great final pit stop to kind of give yourself the edge over Murph to bring home this P2. Talk about your race. I don't know if there was much in the way of catching Chris, but you definitely had a very entertaining race, working your way up 11 spots.
Yeah, I was nowhere near as good at getting through traffic as Chris was. That's for sure. I struggled in the aero wash, and it took a lot of finagling to figure out how to get around people, and a lot of that was just making sure that my pit stops were good so that I could get ahead of them coming out. But yeah, I mean, Chris and I think I started 13th, and that was only 1/10 off the pole. So to have that tight a spread amongst all the guys was crazy. So we knew the main thing with this car is it's got such a narrow draft window. You just need to make sure that you don't that the groups don't break up before pitting starts, because that just increases the chance that you'll never catch up to the car in front of you again. And unfortunately, I was just slow enough getting through the traffic that by the time we started pit cycling, there were big gaps. I did not have the top end pace of I think in the last stint I was getting better at being fast, but I think a lot like Mark said that he didn't like turn 3. I was brutal through turn 3 and was always understeering my way through the corner, and then that just compromises your top end speed the entire way down the straight. So I was most happy when I was behind someone to carry me along. I mean, we had the whole middle of the race there when we were trying to catch up to Chris and Mark, and just letting the guys run. Then of course when Wags and Caleb got together, it was like, okay, well now we have to go because we've just created a huge gap in front of us. So no, it went well. It went good. And then on that last stop, I knew it. We had to be good. We had to create a gap to Mark coming out that he wouldn't be able to catch back up to me, because those first 15 or so laps on fresh tires, he was faster than me. He proved that on the stint before that. But then once the tires wore out, I think that he was carrying like side pod damage that wouldn't repair. I think if he said that correctly. I knew I'd seen him hit the wall. I just assumed he'd fixed it. But as soon as he hit about 15 laps into or 10 to 15 laps into the stint, he just started dropping off the pace. So that was when I was able to get by him. And then that was the same in the last stint. I was able to like put a large distance on him, and then it was just bring it home. I was never catching Chris, that's for sure.
But Andrew,
how effective do you think the swap draft was at this race, especially when you and Jeff were trying to work together to catch up to Murph? With the way the car is set up, do you think that the swap draft would have been effective? Because we did see quite a few people doing it, but wasn't really sure if it was effective or not.
We were trying, and it was just not happening. It was too hard to.
That's kind of what I thought.
You were getting the run too late down the main straight to like make it effective. I mean, if you can be fully ahead of the car before you do turn in entry in 1, that tells you that you're going to be able to swap draft well. And we were not getting the swap draft complete. Usually even by the 2-1 markers into turn 1. So it was just couldn't build enough runs out of 3 to make the swap draft work effectively. It was just a matter of, that was where when the guys were fighting, I was like, no, please just stop fighting, get in line, because we were at our fastest when it was just 3 cars in a line. Let the guy at the front focus on catching the car that was 2.2 seconds away, right? And that worked a couple times just to get us back into the 1.4, 1.2 second windows that would make then jumping into the pit cycle give you the potential to get into that sweet 0.88 draft after the pit cycle.
Well, Craig, congratulations, swapping out or locking out the top 2 spots at the podium there for 4D. A good day for the team. I would imagine you got some shout outs on behalf of the team.
You betcha. Gotta thank the whole 4D Racewear crew. I mean, Chris, driver of the day, was bloody fast and perfect the whole race. So good on him for getting the win. It's well deserved. So getting first and second for the team is great for Jim over at 4D Racewear. And everyone, yeah, Dark Horse, we love driving the DW12. It's I really like the it's all about the driver and all about how your inputs are, and less about 510 button pushes on the steering wheel. So as far as an enjoyable car to drive, it pains me to say that this is I have not been quiet in my disdain for the hybrid. So this is a nice change of pace, that's for sure.
All right, congratulations on the P2, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we return at Homestead, Miami, a place that you do reasonably well at.
Yeah, you betcha, guys. Stay safe.
And that is Craig Forsyth. We'll bring in Christopher, and here he is. Joining us in the booth is Christopher. Once again, the Pocono Whisperer. Whispered sweet nothings in the Pocono's ear, and she gave him a win today, and a dominant win. Congratulations, Chris. What can we say? This place in Michigan seemed to do well to your driving style. What makes this place so special to you?
I like how unique it is. You know, there's no other track like it. You get 3 turns that are all completely different. So I think it keeps you on your toes, whereas, you know, a lot of tracks, both ends kind of seem the same. So, you know, I think that helps me stay alert. But yeah, just, you know, some tracks just agree with you, and this happens to be one of those tracks that agree with me pretty well.
Yeah, Chris. So you got yourself your second win of the season. Did you feel like there was any part of this season that you might actually be able to run in the championship, but just made some mistakes along the way, or perhaps just didn't make enough of the races or something like that? You know, we're going to Homestead, which is another one of your favorite tracks coming up right now. So it's possible that with some better finishes, you would also be in the conversation for the championship. Talk about that.
Yeah, you know, thinking back on the season, I did have some bad luck. I ran good about everywhere we went, but you know, whether it's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time or shooting myself in the foot, I would say, you know, that's just the reason I was down in the points there. And yeah, the win's going to help, but I don't know that I'll be able to compete for a championship at this point. Just maybe a top 5 finish for the season, and you know, these cars are fun. I enjoy it. You know, I of course, if every race could go like it did tonight, it'd be great. But they'd be asking a lot. Maybe we should just run Pocono, Homestead, and Michigan every every few weeks.
Wow, it's like I just said that about an hour ago.
He wants to stack the schedule. Who can blame him? Shout outs to friends, family, sponsors. As we said, your teammate finished second, so a good day for the team. I would imagine that Jim's going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely 40 Racewear, the whole team. Craig getting the second there. Yeah, it was good day for us. You know, shout out to 4D. Check out 4dracewear.com. You know, shout out to my kids. I got to go get them in bed. It's well after the bedtime now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get to stay up late when Dad races on Sunday, though. And shout out to Danielle if you're watching. You guys up here in the booth, I appreciate it. You know, again, it was a lot of fun tonight, everybody. Craig, you know, Wags and Matt, or Matt is Wags, and Mark. But yeah, they're all up front. You know, I didn't qualify too well. Focused on just race pace, and of course that paid off in the end. So, yeah, thank you.
All right, put the kids to bed. And yeah, tell the wife again, thanks for letting you play with us late tonight. We'll see you in a couple of weeks when we get to Homestead, Miami. But before then, I would imagine you got some fixed and open Indy 500 stuff you're going to do. So good luck there. And we'll catch you at the next race. But winner tonight, Christopher. You're now tied with your 5th career win here in the series with good old LGN and Henry Bennett. I believe you're like 6th all time now in wins here in the series. So congratulations, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Thank you. Hopefully I can add to that.
Andrew, I know you got a bolt, so I will let you have your closing thoughts here, and let you go off to dreamland because you got to work.
Yes, thank you very much for that. But yeah, this is quite a good race, and it wasn't as exciting wheel to wheel sort of action that we typically see at these tracks, but at the same time, every lap counts for every one of these drivers. So we have to see how it all plays out, because like we were talking about, once it gets strung out a little bit, anything can happen. You could have a mechanical failure. You could just get bored and turn into a barrier, like it seems like Murphy did. That could end your race. But yeah, no, it was definitely really good to see who could outlast this sort of thing, because this is an endurance situation at the end of the day.
I will let you go, but I will see you again when we do the, I believe, the CIS this coming on May 10th, I think.
Coming Sunday, yep.
Yep.
We got our finale in Mexico City.
Yep, championship race there, championship Sunday, and the Classic IndyCar Series in Mexico City. And then the next time we will be together here for Dark Horse will be Sunday, May 31st, the day after. Or the week after the Indy 500. So by then we'll know an Indy 500. Is it too early for you to make your Indy 500 prediction before we let you go?
I mean, we gotta say Palou is
way to go out on a limb.
I mean, he's out there, right? So it would really be great to see my pal Will Power have have an Andretti win. That's kind of obviously what I'll be rooting for my entire visit down there. But yeah, no, I mean, Palou's going to be, he doesn't matter what happens to him. Bad pit stop, falls to 20th position, and then somehow he's there at the end of the race. So he just manages to find a way to save teaspoons of fuel at a time and then pounce when needed.
He's inherited that Dixon luck. So, okay. So it looks like Palou and Will Power are your picks, and I'm definitely on board the old man crew there. I definitely want to see someone like a Dixon or a Power get a win here, but not to go too far.
Horse?
What's that?
Since we're in the Dark Horse series,
we need a dark horse. Yes.
My dark horse is Takuma Sato.
Wow. Okay. For a third Indy 500 win. Not a bad one. He did pretty well last year until he slid through his pit. So maybe we'll see. All right, Andrew, we'll let you go. I will call us out, but we'll see you in a week when we go to Mexico City for Classic IndyCar. And then at the end of the month here next in Dark Horse when we get to Homestead, Miami.
Yes, and thank you to all for watching, and take us out, Gary.
You got it. Before we get out of here, normally we would have our Luis Gonzalez Nunez driver of the race, and normally that goes to the driver with the most positions gained that didn't finish on the podium. And in that particular case, that would be Joseph Morales, who finished 8th. He improved 11 spots, but since he tied Luis Gonzalez Nunez, we'll also give Stouffer a honorary mention here, since he's now tied Luis all time and wins. This now 7th all time here. Luis has 5 wins in the series, along with Henry Bennett and now Chris Stouffer. That's 7th all time. We'll give an honorable nod to Chris Stouffer for the LGN driver of the race as well. But Jomo with 11 spots to finish 8th. We'll get the title this week, and then the honorary goes to Chris Stouffer, of course, our winner. Let's get on out of here and give everyone the rest of their Sunday evenings back. Start the week off right. Remember, this is getting ready to start basically in the month of May. I mean, we are in the month of May, but this week we got the Indy GP, and then next weekend qualifying, and then the weekend after that, we got a 500-mile race that we're going to watch. So don't go anywhere. IndyCar, this is the time of the year for IndyCar. All right, and that's it for today. Tonight, once again, your podium here for Pocono for the 8th running of the Dark Horse Pocono 300. Chris Stouffer for this first win of the year. 5th win of his Dark Horse career, and that moves him 7th all-time. Craig Forsyth with a second step for 4D. So 4D locks out the top 2. Another podium for Forsyth to back up some previous podiums he had here. I don't think Craig has ever got the win here, so he's still seeking that win here. Yeah, Craig has never won here, but podium in season 5, and podium, finished second to Stouffer here back in the 500-mile race we had here in 2024. So he's still seeking his first win here, but it'll come soon enough. And Mark Murphy extends his points lead with 2 more rounds to go. So the defending points champion, again, doing much like he did last season, but this time with a win. Still holding on to that points lead, and the guys combating him in the points just either didn't show up today for one reason or another and just had a bad race. So we'll see how that shakes out for them when we get to Homestead, Miami. Speaking of Homestead at Miami, join Andrew and myself May 31st when Dark Horse returns again. Presented by 4D Racewear. They go to Homestead Miami Speedway for the Dark Horse Miami 225. Start time is 8 p.m. Eastern time. And remember, for the correct time in your area, find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought on tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so miss out on more of P1's other iRacing programming, including our Tuesday night open wheel oval doubleheader starting at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time with the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series top split, followed by the iRacing Indy Next Oval Series top split at 9:30. So if you like open wheel oval racing, and we know you do if you're watching tonight, then don't miss this action on Tuesday night right here on P1. Tonight's 8th running of the Dark Horse Pocono 300 and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by 4D Racewear. Not only do they lock out the top 2 positions, but you might want to check them out. They're made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com. And also, they have race awards and custom championship rings. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook. You can follow on X and Instagram. All the links you need are in the description. For business inquiries, to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook. You can follow us on X and Instagram. All of our social links are on Linktree as well. So, for Andrew Wood, the Catalyst, everyone else here at Dark Horse Racing Series and 4D Racewear, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all, and everyone else at P1. Thanks for watching. And all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here, May 31st at Homestead for the next race of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear right here on P1. Also, don't forget, this Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, fixed Indy 500 top qualifier split right here on P1, 9 p.m. Eastern this Friday. Don't miss it. We'll see you then. Good night. Have a good week.